Hey y'all, Ramdano here, coming at you from in between storms in North Carolina. Well, had a subscriber take me up on my offer to do any type of gear review that they wanted me to, and they asked me to do a gear review on my Aegismax sleeping bag. So as you know, that's main part of my sleep system. So I got to thinking about it, and I said, wait a minute, I've already done that review. And I got to looking on my videos on YouTube, and it's gone. YouTube didn't tell me why, they just took it down with nothing to tell me why they took it down or anything else. So I didn't save a copy. So a couple of things to take away from that. One, save a copy. Two, you never know when YouTube's going to take something down and they don't have to tell you anything. So anyway, hopefully in this gear review there'll be a few more tidbits of information that weren't in the last gear review in case you saw both of them. And if you didn't, well, you got no way to go back and compare it to see if you did or didn't because it's gone. In any case, to see that review, stick around. Came across the Aegismax. I was looking for some low-cost ultralight gear in general, and particularly a sleeping bag. I was trying to cut my weight down, looking at my big three. And so I saw it on another well-respected thru hiker's YouTube channel, and so he gave it a good review, although he didn't use it on a regular basis, so I thought I would give it a try. And so I was actually looking for a quilt and not a bag. The Aegismax is a sleeping bag. It's not a mummy bag, and it's not a quilt, although it does have a half zip, so it's a lot like a quilt, and you could utilize it for it. I bought the large. I'm 5'9", so I've got plenty of room in it. It's got a large size toe box. I don't like mummy bags because their toe boxes are so small, and I feel cramped and constricted down there with my legs. So that's not a problem with this. It's also very roomy in the shoulders, and so it does not have a hood like a mummy bag, but it is long enough to where if I get really cold at night, I can kind of scrunch down in it and pull the end of it up over my head and kind of seal it off and get good and warm inside. So I've got plenty of room in it, not only down at the bottom for my feet, even if I've got all my clothes on inside of it, but just in general. It does have a drawstring that you can draw up around your shoulders if you just want to sleep with, say, some type of hat on or a tobog or something like that, or you could just draw it up around your shoulders, around your neck, and it does stay fairly tight like that. The Aegismax comes with a stuff sack and slash compression sack and a storage sack. So the storage sack I use when I'm not on trail to keep it fluffed up. The compression sack will really compress it down very small. Here's just a little larger than a half liter smart water bottle. I don't use compression sacks or stuff sacks because they kind of consolidate whatever you're stuffing them in one place, and to me they take up more room in the pack, or they create voids in the pack. So I don't use this. It takes a while for you to stuff it in this sack and get it down small, because the sack is just large enough to carry it and to get it in there. So it's kind of a pain. I don't use it. I just stuff everything in the corners and every nook and cranny in my pack, and that's kind of the way that I pack my pack. It is very light. It's lighter than my original liner that I had with it. It comes in right at 1.16 pounds, so that's extremely light, and that's one of the reasons why I purchased it. Okay, so we'll talk about a few other features that it has, or description. It's made out of a 20D sealed nylon. The compression sack in particular is also made out of the same material, which is probably not stout enough to use as a compression sack. And it has 800 fill of white goose down in it. So white goose down is not really a premium goose down, but it does provide some R value. the biggest thing about a sleeping bag is it's supposed to keep you warm. And so this one bills itself as a 3-season sleeping bag. And it indicates that it has a temperature rating of comfort level of 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The lower limit is 43, and the extreme limit is 15. So I'm assuming extreme limit means you won't die in it if you're at 15 degrees. And the lower limit means you're at the lower limit of the comfort spectrum, and that you're most comfortable at 52 degrees. So to me, this is a bag that's probably somewhere in the 40 degrees. And I would not agree with that. I've had this temperature in the low 40s, around 44, and I was not at all comfortable in it. Matter of fact, I had to put on all the clothing that I had in order to get any sleep and then keep from shivering in it. So haven't had it at 52 degrees yet at night. It may be comfortable without having all your clothes on, or it could be that that's the way they rate it, with all your long underwear like your capelline and your puffy and socks and a wool toboggan and all that. So, but for me, it was not a 40-degree bag, so I wasn't real happy with the comfort level, and it being in the mid 40s. The subscriber that asked me to do this video wanted to see particularly about how the loft was, and so I have it here fluffed out as much as you can fluff it out, and you can see the loft is not remarkable. And the subscriber also wanted to see the loft with me standing on it, and so here is me standing on the loft, and of course it compresses right down to the floor as if all there was just between me and the floor was the sealed nylon. I couldn't even feel any of the down feathers between myself and the floor. The subscriber also had specific questions about the zipper, so I wanted to feature that. The zipper does tend to get caught. It can be difficult to operate. It detaches from itself at the bottom so that you can actually open up the bag larger and get some better ventilation in it. And then when you put it back together to try to keep it on the track, a lot of times you'll get this unevenness here that you have to start over. So that can be kind of a pain, particularly at night, or if you're in your bag, or trying to get it, it's really cold, you're trying to get it zipped up. Once you get it going, it can be kind of hard to get all that together, but once you get it going, the zipper does operate fairly smoothly. Because the material of the bag itself is so sheer, you could have a tendency to rip the zipper out of the material if you put a lot of pressure on it from inside the bag or something like that, if you bought it too small. But once you get it zipped up, it does zip up fairly tight. There's no baffles or anything like that at the top. But you can, like I said, put that over your head to scrunch down in there. If you're on the inside, it can be hard, particularly to get the zipper open, particularly if it gets caught on material. That tends to happen quite often with me, and so you just have to take your time. If you're the type of person that's claustrophobic, that may be an issue for you trying to get out of the bag in a hurry. As I said, I had a problem with the temperature rating and what I was comfortable in. Certainly in the low 40s I wasn't comfortable, even in the mid 40s I wasn't comfortable. And so first trip I tried to augment it with a Sea to Summit Extreme liner. That did not bring me a great deal of comfort. I didn't really think it did a whole lot. I think that's probably a failure of the liner as opposed to a failure of the bag. And so on my last trip at Nil Gap at Mountain Crossings, I picked up a flannel liner that had more loft to it in the material than the Sea to Summit Extreme liner, and was much happier with that. It was pretty much the same weight, which cost me an additional pound, but I think that was worth it. That helped out quite a bit in the bag. I wouldn't say it would add 25 degrees to it either, but it did add a layer of comfort for me that was better than the Sea to Summit. So I would recommend that. That is a Equinox liner, and it's made in the USA. I will try to find a link to that and post it down in the description section. So to kind of summarize this and put a bow around it, a couple things about the sleeping bag that I didn't like. Didn't like that I didn't feel like it kept me adequately warm for a 3-season bag. So I think the true test of a bag is, would you give it as a gift? So I would say maybe to the Salvation Army or Goodwill, but probably not. And I will probably be looking for a quilt, something from more of a name brand, or something like that that's going to give me a better experience in the field. Zipper's kind of a pain, can be. A couple times I felt like I was getting stuck on the inside of it. So that was a minus. There are no pad straps for it. So a lot of quilts and bags come with straps where, or a buckle or something to where you could engage a pad strap to keep it on your pad so it wouldn't come off. In this case, it did not have any, and I did have, particularly if I'm on an incline, have a problem with it staying on my pad and me sliding off the pad. So that would have been nice to have that. The compression sack is, again, to me, if you used it a lot, I think it would probably tear. I just don't think it's substantial enough. So all that being said, the bag is an $80 bag, so I'm going to spend several hundred, probably upwards of $350 if I'm going to get a decent bag. So for the money, this is a good bag. I've taken it on 2 trips, and I'll be taking it on my next trip as well. It has served its purpose. Just long term, I don't think it would be good for a through hike, or probably not even good for a week-long hike. Certainly wouldn't be good for anything in the winter where you're going to experience below freezing temperatures. I hate that my old review got taken down for whatever reason. I had some good footage, night footage of me actually being in the bag and being cold in the bag. So, but it is what it is. So hopefully this has been of help for you. If it has been of help, give me a thumbs up. Hit that big old red subscribe button down there and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. If you got any more questions I didn't answer about this bag, then I'll be glad to answer those. Leave a comment of some other items you'd like to see me in the future give a review on, particularly those items that I have as part of my kit. And as always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.